doing it is. It's a PR.
Okay, let's try one more time. I don't know what happened there. I think an aircraft might have came by. We get that from time to time. It interferes with the electronics. I'm Donovan Sadiq. This is the Hot Seat Radio Show. Hey, Ballin' Out of Control Wilder and Mr. Moreno Valley, Daryl Terrell. We're going to tell you all the latest news and local news going on in the Inland Empire, especially Moreno Valley. You guys have heard the news. A 22-year-old child was elected with Highland Fairview money. And we are officially a failed city. And when people say, what does that mean when I say failed city? What I mean when I say failed city is the same as like when you say the country of Somalia. It's a failed country. There's no leadership. There's nothing there. You're just on your own.
My son's 18, so Cabrera's is only 4 years older than my child. And my son can barely keep his room clean. So I'm really trying to figure out how, Cabrera's going to manage his whatever.
Well, the scary thing is this is his first real job because this job pays $1,400 a month plus CalPERS and all the other stuff. So for him, this is like the greatest thing that ever happened. If you remember the picture Gordon put up of where him and his father live, it looks like it's like the real Edgemont. So this is a big windfall for him. So
I'm just worried about the three horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yes.
Steamrolling our city into Hades. And I'm sad for our city. I truly, I'm not mad. I'm not bitter. I'm sad. I'm sad that we have voters in District 4 that, one, never got the opportunity to vote.
Right.
And two, that there were voters in this city that weren't fully educated on who Mr. Cabreras is. And I'm also sad for the people that condone his ethical behavior.
And his goon squad that he had out.
But touting as a man of God and then putting out those horrendous flyers.
Right.
And it's sad to me because this city has the potential to be a city with the right leadership. And now we have the Highland Fairview 3 that they're just going to steamroll Gaia and they're going to steamroll Marquez. And that's the unfortunate part.
Well, that's what it's sad, but I'm not. I was telling Donovan, I'm not giving up hope. And how can you not give up hope on that? I said, well, again, I would say this time and time again. Even in our darkest moments, hope shines brightest. And now I'll continue to say that because I still believe history will repeat itself again. It will. So, to look at it, and what the results have shown me is the fact that people have given up hope. They just gave up.
Look at the voter turnout. 11,000, almost 11,500 that were sent out. And then what was the return?
Less than 600 people determined that election.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People giving up because if you have the recall election of Tom Owens, there were a lot more people in District 3 that came out and voted for George Price. And the councilman-elect got only around 600, 630, something like that kind of votes. That means if you're not inspiring hope in people because people are not coming out because they just say,
maybe people are tired like we are. We're getting tired because the information's out there. Gordon put out Monday the thing from the DA where this kid weltantly lied. 700, Form 700.
And it just boggles my mind that people are actually defending this.
How can you defend that?
They're defending his action. They're defending his mailers. Well, it was all true. Let's do some little fact checking here. And I think we can all pretty much agree that those. True. Thank you.
The picture of Diaz, the grainy overlay of the grainy they put a grainy layer over
facade, yeah,
over picture they made black and white to cover up the bad Photoshop job.
Right. So
I'm just at a loss on what actually I went to bed, woke up the next day, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" While it wasn't a surprise, I should say, it was still really sad. It was really sad because I was really hoping that District 4 would turn it around for the city. You know, it was, I would have to say they were the great white hope, but I was really hoping that with all the conversation, all the flyers, all the feedback, especially on social media and, you know, with people that, you know, with the debates and things.
Yeah, there was over 200 people at the debate. Now, think about that. Over 200 people attended to the debate. That's the people that voted.
Well, and I think a lot of it was, you know, the confusion on what part of the district could actually vote.
Right.
So when it came out in PE that it was old District 4, not new District 4, people were livid. And
Right.
rightfully so. You don't find out that far into the game that, oh, by the way, you can't vote.
You can't vote now.
So I think that hurt District 4 voting altogether.
Well, it sounds like a butt hurt crying that I'm hearing right now. So the question we got to ask ourselves is, what do we do moving forward?
We need to regroup, reorganize, come up with a plan, and figure it out.
Well,
And try to do something about having so many people run.
That's what I think the whole thing is. Now, unfortunately, you have people that are running, Denise Fleming, LaDonna Jimson, that should not be running.
Did you see where someone called Shalinda the vote splitter?
She came in second.
I know. I said, how's she a vote splitter? She came in second,
She came in second. She could have won it.
which I was actually very shocked to see her number so high.
Well, I wasn't shocked at all. What I was really see, and this is what I'm saying. Okay, you have these different factions. You have me out here in the Edgemont area. LaDonna, we could have that seat in District 1, even though LaDonna, when it comes out you're a bank robber, you have no more political career. You're done. She should have stepped aside and let me win that seat. And it would have been at least, there wouldn't be a 3-0 club.
So what's next? District 2?
Yeah.
Guyver?
Yeah,
Well,
coming up.
Oh, Jesus.
Shalinda wasn't a vote splitter. In the past elections, you can spot the vote splitters because they have no clue what they're talking about.
Right.
That's what I was
We've
like.
interviewed Shalinda, and she was able to stand her ground. When we
And I
turned up
think
the
that's
pressure.
why I was so impressed. She literally went from
Who?
to
But,
you know,
but,
coming
but,
in
but,
second.
but here's my thing. Okay, and like I said, I helped her as much as I could to give her some information behind the scenes, whatever the deal is. She came a long way from when she started, when we first saw her. Here's the problem, like I was going back what I was saying about letting me hold the seat here in District 1. By letting me hold the seat here in District 1, we wouldn't have to worry about a 3-0 club.
Right.
But bank robber Jimson, it's about her. It's about her. People are asking to step down. You're not going to win. Everybody told you that.
Okay,
Okay, wait. Let me finish though. So with Shalinda, who's getting support, you know, where was the Denise Flynn? Where's the Democratic Party? Where are all these people that could have financed her and got behind her and gave her a really good push? Now she did all that with less than $5,000. So
But she was out really. I'm sorry. She was. Go ahead.
The local Democratic Party can be as much of a liability as it is an asset. They don't have their act together.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. If we would get behind one candidate at a time, and you know, and this is where you can tell.
That's what I was going to say. Is
Right.
We had 3 good candidates. One was conservative. 2 were.
Right.
One was fairly liberal. One was kind of moderate. And we had 3 people that had skills to do the job.
Right.
And we got this kid that doesn't have any clue what he's doing. And he won with a little over a third of the vote. I mean,
He won with
it's
like
great that
34%.
of the vote.
yeah, it's great that we have people that want to run, but we really need to figure out.
Well, see,
They really need to sit down and talk among
that goes back
themselves.
to my point. If these people really cared about the city, if they cared about this city, they would say, you know what, I'm going to step back and we're going to do this, and so we can get our agenda and be done with it.
Well, from talking to them, they do care about them. But the thing is,
But
is
what
they're
are they
not talking.
doing?
They're not talking to each other about who should be one running.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, then I'm going to sit here and say that I challenge Democratic Club of Inland Empire, Merino Valley, whatever it is, to get it together because District 2 is coming up.
No, that was going to cut you off. That will never happen because you have these different personalities like Reen Ayers and all these people that want to be shot callers. They don't care about the city. This is what listeners. Here's what you guys don't understand. And I know
Then
people.
the change of
Yeah,
regime.
yeah, and I know people don't want to hear this. These people who claim they've been here for 30 years and they're in the community, after LaDonna Jimson lost, where was she?
Well, maybe that's the problem. We're expecting people who've been here forever to implement change. These people who've been here, these clubs, Republican, National, whatever, the Democrat, and all these, the Libertarians, if you've been here this long and you haven't done anything, then maybe you should step down and let new blood take over and revitalize the city. Because obviously the old way of doing things has gotten us three Fairview candidates.
Right, but here's what I'm saying. Denise Fleming ran for mayor, highly qualified to be mayor. That's a fact.
I will actually co-sign that.
Okay, that's a fact. She's educated. She's on the school board. She's highly qualified.
I didn't care for her.
No.
She did have
She had credentials.
But the problem is
she's unethical.
She's not likable.
Right, and she's unethical. But where was she to out there and step and get her voted for her in that district?
Because it wasn't about her.
Exactly. That's my point.
And I think a lot, and it's nothing against Mrs. Fleming.
No, or any candidate. We're just saying we got to get our shit together.
Exactly, because this is sad.
You know,
This is sad.
I mean, that election should have been won by anybody other than. Okay, wait.
George Price, ABC.
Exactly. Well, it's frustrating because you have Denise Fleming, you have a LaDonna Jimson, you have a George Price, experienced people, life experience.
Yeah.
And along comes a kid who can't wipe his ass. He wins election because we can't put
Not even that.
our
It's
stuff.
a kid who lies, who blatantly lies, and people see in black and white that it's proof lies,
Right.
and still say, "Well, you know what? I'll vote for him."
Right, or I'm so disenfranchised, I don't want to be involved anymore.
It's mind-boggling.
And that's what I don't understand. People that are highly qualified, we can't get qualified people on the council, but let a 22-year-old ass kisser come in and he gets elected.
He doesn't even know what to call. If he's not even responsible enough to purchase it, how? Well, you know what? Never mind.
I'll have to cut him a slack on that because he may have some medical issue that makes it that he can't get a license.
Lying isn't a disease.
Well, if something can, I don't know if he has something going on that he can't operate a car. Maybe if he has
he got a rental car for the campaign.
Yeah, he sure.
Yeah,
he sure did.
He got a rental car for the campaign.
But Mr. Mayor, what do you think?
Know that I was giving him the benefit of the doubt until I had some information.
No, well, let's look at it like you were saying. This will solve part of the problem. You need runoff.
Yes.
Because if you did, it'd be two people, one-on-one, no more vote splitters or whatever you want to call it. Have a runoff. That's number one. Number two, I go back to the Tom Owens time because people were more motivated because what was going on. People says, "Well, it had a lot to do with the corruption, alleged corruption."
But how he treated people.
That's how he treated people. But people were motivated because you see people you never seen before.
Right? It was so disrespectful.
So I mean, this right now to galvanize people. But again, people have to check their egos at the door. Because you have to have unity right now.
Well,
I think
we're all aligned with a common goal.
Yeah, I don't think getting it down to two candidates would be full. I think realistically you're going to have a more liberal candidate and a more conservative candidate and the Highland Fairview candidate.
Yeah.
Well, if you have Ross, you would have
the top two.
The top two running off. It'd be two candidates in a runoff.
But then we'd have to change our codes or city
if
charter.
you get the state legislature to do something. I mean, give the cities a chance.
Well, I'm going to say this. Okay. I mean, I could sit here and say, okay, I'm gearing up for another run. Okay, I've ran twice. I put the message. I did what I had to do. I will work with anybody, one candidate in District 1, and I'm hoping Mercado runs. Yeah,
I can think of other good people in this district too.
Sure, but I'm just saying I will get behind one good candidate, and that means taking my voters and my listeners who I know would vote for me and backing somebody newer because I'm almost 50 years old. So, I'm almost 50. Wait, is that the silver anniversary?
I have to Google it.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to back away to get a challenger to get ready for Victoria Baca. And that's what I'm saying. Because I care about my neighborhood and my district and my city, so much. It isn't about me. It's what's best for this city. And right now, I serve the community best putting on the debates and making sure that we see these candidates and what we're doing versus me running the thing. Now, don't get me wrong. If the people want to write me in and I get in there, I will serve. But for me to do it, I don't want to be a running joke.
I'll write you, man.
So,
But you know what?
but you know, I mean, we need to get behind one candidate. And if we have to go around and start Tanya Hart, other candidates that happen to jump in, let's do that. No, I'm joking. We don't do
We're not
that.
gonna.
Yeah, we're not going to advocate that. Or we can get some
Yeah,
goon
you're on
squads
your own
like,
on that one.
yeah.
But we could be like, hey, I'll go rent a minivan.
Yes, exactly.
I will drive.
Right, we could get some
I'm like,
kids.
wow, no, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And
You guys are liars.
you're a bunch of liars.
And then come back to the scene of the crime.
And I'm like, hey, so what just happened?
Right.
Let's not videotape that.
But it's very demoralizing when you see that people are that. And here's the narrative. This is what's going to kill me. He won overwhelmingly.
He won with 34% of the vote.
Overwhelmingly.
He won with a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Check their math.
And no, it wasn't even a couple hundred because what the final tally was,
I'd have to look at.
he beat Shalandra by like 70 votes or something like
It
that.
was a small margin.
Yeah, it
really
wasn't a big.
that big of a
It wasn't a big margin at all.
It's, and I just think when people are like, oh, you guys are just bitter. No, we want better for our city. And if wanting better for our city makes me bitter, then I'm a bitter.
No, what I want is the city to stop catering to one developer.
It'd be nice.
If we could spread a little bit of that money and the wealth, my tax dollars, because what's going to happen now is like we've been saying, he's going to indemnify the city in his legal fees. The infrastructure bond is going to come down and start happening. And
I will say this election results, talking with a lot of my neighbors, they are ready to go. Because they now know
white flight, it's about to happen.
that
It's been happening.
the
But
horsemen of the apocalypse aren't
Yes.
going to do anything
Nope.
to benefit this city. We don't have anything promising to keep people here.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to have 3 people that are going to run that city council.
and they're going to live here and then move,
Yeah.
like most people do.
Cabrera's
Tom
gonna
Owings.
do whatever it is, and then he's going to, ride back to Compton or ride back to Austin
Mm-hmm.
or wherever he supposedly lives.
Right.
Victoria Bach is probably
And
just
here,
gonna change
here's the
minds.
sad thing about this young man that really he doesn't understand. Once the gravy train over and Ito is done with you, he's done with you. So whatever future this young man has, this young child has, and he thinks he's going to go somewhere with your reputation precedes you. So he thinks he has a political career. It's like Gutierrez. He thinks he's going to be a state senator or assemblyman or something. That ain't going to happen.
Yeah, he lied about his citizenship on his voting
Right.
voter registration. Like you're going to be like the next Obama or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Get out. No, he didn't.
Yeah, his very first voter registration form that says he was born in Venezuela, and the next one it says USA.
Right.
Ixton Albert Gutierrez.
But, but these...
shameless
but-
man.
Yeah, he's very ashamed, but that's my point. This young kid doesn't realize if you have any aspiration, your reputation is going to follow you.
Oh, his reputation's already up.
So once Ito's done and he gets what he wants, then you're going to get out here and you say, yeah, I was a council person in Merino Valley.
See, the thing
People are going to be like,
I
so
think
what?
People forget that Google is everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everyone uses it. It's free for you. It's free for me. It's free for everyone.
Right.
So it doesn't take much, but a couple clicks with your thumbs to figure out, who people are. So, yeah.
Well, all I can say is I wish him and Mayor Gutierrez, their bromance continues as they're on the dais. And,
Sweetie, if you want to send me some ends, some coins.
hey.
As long as it's not a check, I'll take a cashier.
Yes,
check.
cashiers. Right.
No personal checks. No checks, please, thanks.
Right. I mean, all these, what do you call them? It seems like all these guys, pedophile, Oregon, and all these other, they're just all celebrating, but they don't realize.
Did you see that guy at Valley View High School yesterday?
No.
Someone with never mind. Forget it. I'm not
Right.
talking about it anymore. I'm not doing that.
So moving on from that, so everybody, the bottom line in that segment is we really have to
Do better.
get the word out to me because I'm in District 1. Edgemont voted more than the people in District 4 in a special election.
Well, yeah.
11,000
ballots went out, and less than 2,000 came back.
So the white flight continues. Mr. Mayor, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you're saying hope and stuff, but people are saying to hell with hope when you can go to another city that's got their shit together.
Well, again, it's like you said before, you have to invest in your community. But people leaving because of a variety of reasons. Because like you were saying, because they don't want to work in a warehouse or the kids moving. But the thing still remains the same, that this city has a lot of promise. And despite what the results were Tuesday, that people have to see beyond the election. People, and then, like I said, in District 4, they didn't vote for, like I said, for a variety of reasons, like Chase and yourself said. But the thing I go back to the Tom Owens thing, because this was like the first time that people were really gathering.
Right, but you got to understand why they were doing that, because these people were being disrespected.
Yeah, but that's
okay, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
If Evan Moron, forcible rape Morgan, disrespected me the way that he thinks he's going to do, he'll get his ass kicked, and he knows that. That's why he's very, very keen on his P's and Q's.
I can get behind a keyboard and unleash the fury, but the problem is this: the man is being disrespectful.
Right.
He is being disrespectful, telling people in city council meetings he doesn't have to answer to them, and all this. That's disrespectful from our mayor that people voted for.
But
if
Tom Owens was being personable.
I heard he was horrible. But even still, Gutierrez is on that track.
Of course.
Yeah. So we don't
remember,
and get those
the other night, someone actually had the nerve to say that Gutierrez doesn't have to answer us because he doesn't suffer fools.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't what? He doesn't do
that
what?
Guy.
He doesn't just because he doesn't suffer fools.
He's just...
There's something about when
that
people,
I just left a laughing icon and left it at that.
Well, the thing is, there's something about that seat. When people get that seat, it just goes ahead. Jesse Molina, same thing when he was mayor. But go ahead, Derek.
Okay. Now you mentioned. Okay, you're saying this is how I look at it.
Okay.
It's leadership. You have to have somebody that can inspire people.
Okay, stop right there.
And what I'm saying to you right now, there's nobody on that council, in the leadership, that inspires people, that will get people to think about their future, and that when you mention that there's hope, that they see something tangible. They don't see just lip service or PR stuff. You see somebody out there that's inspiring people that say, you know what, I get up every morning because I could look out there and they say there's programs out there. Or
our mayor is an educator.
Ha!
No. Rock with me right now.
Rock with you. Okay.
Our to be an educator, to go out and dedicate your life to educating children, to motivate children. Don't roll your eyes.
I'm sorry.
Just rock with me for a minute.
Yes, I'm right.
It takes a certain kind of somebody to do that. So when I learned that Gutierrez was an educator, I was like, you know what? All right. Because leadership, when I was military, when I went to the NCO Academy, is the art of influencing people to accomplish a mission and goal.
Yes.
That is not happening. He is not doing that. And while he is charismatic to Ito, he's charismatic to...
No, he's not. He's not charismatic.
I said he's charismatic when he talks about when he was with Ito, and you see the photos, and he's smiling, he's happy, and he's jovial. Gutierrez he's in a position to where he can do a lot. But unfortunately, he chooses to redirect what he can do for the city to what he can do for Ito. And as much as he wants to give, this power trip about being, I don't answer to anybody. Technically, sweetheart, you do. And the sad part about it is no one is holding his feet to the fire. No one is, and I know there are people that are out there championing for better Moreno Valley. And we have, the FPPC and the DA who are dragging their damn feet. But there has to be more. We should expect more from those people that sit on the dais. And we have set the bar so ridiculously low. And even more so now that I don't even think the bar exists. We have to fix this. And we have, as residents, as active tax-paying residents of this city, to fix it.
Sean is laughing and smiling. But go ahead, Sean.
I know. Go ahead, Sean.
That's funny. I've never seen Gutierrez act charismatic. I've only seen him at the city council meetings where he's acting like he's.
Well, I'm saying when he's with Ito, you see the photo.
Yeah, because Balsa, I got to do my thing, Balsa.
Yeah,
No,
Balsa,
but
Balsa.
I'm saying that's how he should be when he's on the
Yeah,
dais.
but when he's on the dais, he's acting like he's under criminal punishment. You think he's just like sitting there waiting to like have a court card signed off so he can bail?
Right. Go ahead, Darryl.
Well, the reason why, let's look at the situation again. City staff, okay, they run in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a leader that the city staff looks at and say, okay, sir, where do you want us to go? This is my vision to take us beyond beyond the warehouse mentality.
They have that. Ito says this is the vision.
But you need a person, the mayor, whoever it is, that even Ito will look at and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to let you do it. Because they have that vision. They know how it means to get there. And they inspire people to take action to do it.
What Ito does is
we need a plan that will still work even after Ito tries to hijack it.
right. I mean, what Ito does, whatever he doesn't like, he will find a person who's willing to sell their soul, bend over with no Vaseline, and take it up the keister.
You can find a dumb idiot.
And then he'll get other people that'll take $10,000, $5,000 to split the vote.
I'll take it.
Most of our elections, and I've been involved in this for 5 years now, of my own personal volition, and we keep losing. We keep losing because, number one, we're fighting each other when we can't see.
And that's where we have to stop. We all have a common goal. We all do. All of us, depending on the radio show.
No, but here's the thing, though. If there is somebody better qualified than you, Tay, to run, would you support that person?
Yes.
That's the problem. Everybody thinks. I'm not saying
And that's the
I'm
problem.
all
We have
that.
too many chiefs and not enough idiots.
Right.
But we have to put our egos aside.
But these people, these
have
baby
common
boomers
goals.
will not do that. Because when we went to LaDonna Jensen and we went to these people and said, you need to step down. Let this guy go. I've been here 30 years. Well, you could be here a year. Less than a year. You could become a council person.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be with
No matter how long you've been here, it doesn't entitle you to be on the city council.
Right. Exactly.
Well,
I've been here 30
District 2
years
next
too,
week.
and I'm not running.
Right. You know what I mean? So, and then that's the problem. These baby boomers, they won't go away. They won't. And they're the biggest problem that we have.
People need to understand that when it's time for you to ride off into the sun. Jesse Molina rode off into the sunset.
Yes, he
George
did.
Price, he comes around, he did what he had to do, and
Right.
he rode off into the sunset. I would hope that everyone else that was non-productive or
It's very frustrating. It's very
I
frustrating.
just need to ride off and just let the new regime take over. Everyone that's not doing anything beneficial to the city, let's just go ahead and pack it up. Go to knitting class.
But that's the thing.
Go to the community center. do something.
LaDonna gets up there. I'm a fight for you, and all of a sudden, and I'm speaking about my council person, my experience. Okay, there's no way politically Victoria Baca should have won her seat back. No way.
When you, I still okay. So again, I'm still struggling with the whole that last council meeting where everyone was there and everyone was talking horribly about Hector Diaz and we need ethics, and I'm like, your people are the same people that are Victoria Baca back on the council.
Right.
How in God's green earth can you scream ethics?
And watch, they're not going to be talking about this committee now. They won't be talking about it.
Ethics, but had no problem voting for Victoria Baca.
Exactly.
Why? That's stupid.
But see, I don't blame Victoria Baca. I blame LaDonna Jimson. You were a bank robber. 70% of the people that voted for her the first time, which stole the election from me, did not vote for her the second time. Because fundamentally, people do not support bullshit. She should have been transparent.
Apparently, we do support bullshit.
Well, we're talking about real people that have sense.
You mean people that didn't vote twice?
Yeah, or did disappearing, 12 people in the house, stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, if LaDonna would have said, you know what, I was here for 2 years, I held it, the jig is up, and just step to the side and let somebody else run, Victoria Baca wouldn't have that seat. And that's when they don't know when is enough because it's about them.
And I think a lot of it has to do with that. A lot of people they're not on the Moreno Valley page, Facebook pages. They're not social media savvy. So you have all these older people residing in District 4 that just only know what is presented to them, not what, the good work MB Gordy is doing.
Right.
And all this other. And I think that also
played into.
It did. And while it was great for people who were, social media savvy and engaged with what's going on, it worked. It didn't help anybody else who, doesn't utilize, still has a flip phone on AOL dial-up. So we have to really, pound the ground and foot stomp these neighborhoods to really get the word out and not just use.
But we have to get
sliders.
behind one candidate.
Agreed.
And all the infighting and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sorry. If you're a baby boomer, sit your ass down at this point. Because you see the demographics of the council right now.
Unless
a 22-year-old kid just got elected.
George Price can come back, please.
No, I don't think George is going to come back. It would be nice if he did, but he's going off in the sunset and vacationing, and I don't blame him.
I don't blame him.
I've been involved for 5 years. I'm still going to do what I can do. But see, I know when I want to jump off. Let Jerry Mercado be the next guy to go up against
to be honest,
Victoria.
I really hope so.
Yeah,
I really hope so. He's a smart man,
Right.
educated man.
He wants what's best for the district.
He wants what's not just for the district, but for the city. And he's out here making his presence known.
Exactly.
I'm here for it. I like the guy.
But that's what I'm saying. Now you have to get in campaign mode now and get your name
You hear
going
that, Mr. Mercado?
and stuff like that.
I will be inboxing you.
But there, I know you're saying what hope and like that. People have been doing hope. These wars have been going on for over 8 years,
But
and we're losing.
But you know why they had some success? Because it's people like at the very get go when I got involved, there was hardly not any people going to the council. It was probably me, Pete, George Avenese, Priscilla Banks. These are people probably don't even recognize.
Was Melissa Palomares going?
No, I didn't see her. I didn't see her, but it was a lot of the old timers was there that I was from. And I kept going at it. I kept challenging the council. Way back then, we were hardly nobody in that council table.
You can see that on the city website. Just go to the city videos. You can see Daryl.
But do you see what Ito's doing? He's galvanizing the youth. He's rallying the youth.
Exactly.
He's hitting that young,
new
that
voters,
under 30 demographic.
Exactly.
And that's what
I'm talking about.
Really, who his base is.
Well, see, the thing is, when the WLC was going on, that when people were saying, again, I make this joke about it, but it's true. Jobs, and when
where are the jobs?
When schedules came through, and they said, I seen people crying. I ain't gonna get a job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't control
all the stuff I did.
Yeah, and you don't got any skills. I'm sorry.
Well, quite frankly, the only way anyone's getting a job there is if they work for cheaper than they could get a machine for.
But see, that's the thing about it, though. People that in this campaign talk about high-paying jobs, but it's going to require you to have an education. We got to have an educated workforce. What business is going to come in this community, high tech, low tech, or whatever you want, particularly, going to come to a community where you got people 55%, 25 years or older, have the highest education attainment is a high school education.
And if you look at where Amazon warehouses are, they're in low income areas.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Out here.
I know that Stockton, the city of Stockton looks like Beirut in the 1970s.
It's in the hood. They're in all kinds of. In Georgia, it's in the northeastern part, right out there. We're in the country.
Macon, yeah, by Macon.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's up north.
Okay,
northeast.
The ones
It's Jackson County.
relatively wealthy compared to most warehouse cities. The ones in the relatively wealthy areas, like more predominantly white areas, they're all run by machines.
Machines, exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They keep coming. These kind of businesses keep coming here. People are sometimes missing because the fact they come here because they look at the demographics. They look.
Of course they do.
Well, yeah, but just what I'm saying, the best roads, or you can have the good roads, the highways, the airports. But if you don't have an educated workforce, what's that going to do for the people?
See, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because what's going to happen now, you're going to have more homes being built. You got to have slaves need quarters to live in.
Well, that's
And that's what's going to happen. You're going to have more housing and more warehouses. White flight is going to be done. We're going to be...
no, not just that. It's just with these three, they're going to let Ito build all the empty warehouses in the world, and they're going to, like Shalinda said, they're building them in her backyard. People aren't going to stay there.
Right.
I'm not going to buy a house in Moreno Valley, and I have a damn warehouse in the backyard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hell no, I'm going to take it down to $215.
And to tell you this, when my property value goes up because of the infrastructure bond,
or I'm going to go to Redlands.
something's going to happen in this city. Something's going to happen because I'm not a renter. I'm an owner.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because they keep coming, just like you're saying, these, affordable housing and all this other stuff because of all the warehouses. But they come in here particularly because of identity. That's why, again, I keep harking back to the check cashing places, the liquor stores. They come there because they know people have credit scores.
You have no other option.
And so they're going to be feeding on that despair. So you see people, I see people outside not on my street, but down off of Alexandra and Hickok, staying out there just getting drunk all the time. You got nothing. They're just sitting there drinking. Well, but see, that's my problem. That's the thing I'm saying. You got to have a vision instead of warehouse vision. You got to think about the American. That's why I go back to that, because the way you get to the American dream for a lot of people is through education.
But a lot of these people do not want to be educated.
I know. You can't force a person to education,
it's not just that they don't want. They think it's something that's unattainable to them. And we need to dispel that you can go and get a quality education from RCC or DC or with San Jacinto Community. You can. We need to stop allowing people to put limits on themselves and their educational goals, knowing that just because you are from the ghetto or from the barrio, you can do better.
Back in the day when you were from the ghetto or from the barrio, and being a 40-year resident here, when there was nothing out here but grassland, the only thing was either I'm working at Circle K, which is hard to get because it's a family-owned business or whatever or I'm joining the military. But it was damn sure better than sitting here doing nothing.
And the sad part is that base used to be so
beautiful.
I remember coming out here high school during the summer for summer leadership school. And when I came back, holy crap.
I was very thankful to have been stationed there when it was active.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, that's what I was saying. We were talking about education. Like yours, you made the point about not everybody wants to have because it makes
I want to start at the top. I'm a millennial. I want to start at the top.
But see, the thing is, that's what I kept talking about, that proposal I brought forth, a Raising the Bar initiative, where there was a hybrid apprenticeship training program where people could learn and train and get paid to a position. Again, think if you had a factory out here that had, say, it's a widget factory, high tech or something, say, then when that business come into the community, what you do, you go meet and say, hey, we got a apprenticeship program, training program, where it leads into that position you're training for. Now, it takes 2 years to go into it, but that's what they did in Chattanooga with the Volkswagen. See, our mentality is this. We train and pray to get a job.
Did that. When in Atlanta, they have Delta has a huge hub in Atlanta.
Right.
And Northrop Grumman has another huge hub, in various cities. What they do is they go to that specific demographic that they're looking for, and they'll, like troops to teachers and all these other fun things. They do that, and unfortunately, there are no. That's why I'm sad that Hire Mobile, when it could be such a great program with so much potential, but they don't have anyone specifically dedicated to
because they
benefit the kids.
See, here's the thing, you guys are. I know where you guys are going, and it's frustrating me for the simple fact that yes, I agree with everything you guys are saying, but that is not the plan for these children. Period.
If you want that, we're going to have to rely on the joint powers because Dr. Wheeler does have the capacity to initiate that. Right.
But okay, so they have MVUSD has this thing with Moreno Valley Community College for all the grads to go to for their first, I think, year for I think that is.
Is that retroactive?
Yeah. Well, here's the sad thing. Whenever it's for free.
But that is an awesome step for kids who think that they can't, or they're too dumb for school, or they can't get into school.
Okay, here's my thing. See, okay, now I'm a long-time resident, blah blah blah. Who cares? To go to RCC when I was a kid, at that age, was $11. Do you remember that? There was $11 a unit.
Yeah,
I remember.
Okay, now here's the thing. I think it's like $50 a unit. I'm just paraphrasing. $150 is nothing. Kids, they spend that buying Starbucks in a week.
Okay, no, not necessarily true.
Okay,
Only
fine.
because of this. Because you don't have kids really in school anymore. Your kids are a lot older. My kids
Right.
are in the district. And let me tell you something. These kids in this school can't afford shit.
I know,
And
that's where my
here's
point
the
is going.
And here's why I think the going to community college and figuring, because RCC has expanded. RCC isn't just, your gen ed courses and other fun things. They have a culinary arts school.
They have a nursing program.
They have nursing programs. They have trade programs.
Yes.
They have so many things.
And they've had that for
where
years.
someone can take that first year and figure out, okay, I want to do HVAC, or I want to start my, electrician apprenticeship or
Let's
something.
think about those skills. I mean, there could be.
But I'm hoping that these kids utilize these
won't.
programs to benefit. But we need.
Yeah,
But you need to
in
tie
the-
it to industry.
In the ghetto, I mean, there's still going to be demand for the, because I mean, you're still, especially in the ghetto, you're going to have crap breaking. You're going to have
of course.
crappy air conditioners breaking. You're going to have
No.
little things breaking.
See, Sean, you don't understand about the ghetto. When stuff breaks, they just leave it. Ray
Yeah.
Ray and Pookie, they don't get it.
We don't pay for that.
Yeah.
But you just need the industry to tie that, because you got a lot of these what you're talking about, but they're not tied into industry
Okay, no,
the
I-
opposition.
okay,
No.
maybe not like the ghetto,
Yeah.
maybe just like a little bit farther
Right,
north.
right. But what I'm saying is, I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. If that was the case, if you look at where we're at in our children, regardless if my children are not here ever, if $50 a unit is not a lot of money to go, $150 for one class.
It is.
I know for our demographics of what we have. But the thing, though, okay, you have a job here at the warehouse. If you really want to go to college, do that job, do your 2 years, like Daryl's been saying, do the apprenticeship program. You got to work somewhere.
But here's the thing: these people get into these jobs and then they get swept up in trying to get hours to make ends
Of
meet,
course.
and then they never
Exactly.
make it to
And that is the plan.
and that is the problem.
Exactly. That's the whole thing.
Well, that's how I would say the reason I talk about that. Where I was talking about the apprenticeship, that's how you attract those kind of other businesses in warehouses, though. And I'm just saying real quick, because the reason I say that, because when a business invests, what they invest in training and labor, so what they're going to do, they can say, hey, we want to contribute into the training. So you bring your business into this community. It don't have to be
Okay. I'm going to cut you off.
Okay.
We have dedicated ourselves to warehouses. What business is going to come here now?
That's what I'm saying. You need vision beyond warehouse, because that's my.
We
whole
have no more land. We have no more options.
We have a 99-cent stores.
Right.
I know that,
Marijuana dispensaries.
Right. I understand what you're saying, Daryl, but we have given away the house. It's done.
I understand that, but the thing I'm telling you, like this proposed World Logistics Center thing, that's when it comes when you have a leader that could go to Edo and say, hey, here's my vision of bringing real jobs. Forget what you're trying to do with this World Logistics Center thing. Let's bring in, because we have a program that could attract those type of business that could have to pass to the middle class.
I agree with you, but the fact of the matter is, Edo doesn't give a damn
Yeah, I was
about
gonna
these
say,
kids.
but
He doesn't give a
Edo.
damn about Edo's about his money. And
Well,
that's the
I
bottom
understand.
line.
That's
So,
why I say you got to have a
hope.
leader that stand up.
But we don't have that. We don't have that.
We do have one.
Okay, well we're gonna get we're gonna get that in the next hour. Hey, you guys are listening. Great conversation going on. You can download the radio show Google app. You can do it in Google app and on iPhone store, and just look up the Hot Seat Radio Show. You can get all our episodes, all the shenanigans. Everything's going to be there. But we're going to continue this conversation in the next hour, because Daryl is going in a direction that is something for you guys to think about. So stay tuned and be ready.